So, are you thinking of moving to the Seattle area and you want to know some hacks and kind of like some insider secrets on what it's like to live here? Well, stay tuned because this next video, I'm going to give you some hacks for living in Seattle. Hey everybody, my name is Tova Williamson and I am a local realtor here in the Seattle metropolitan area. And I shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in Seattle and what it's like to move here. So if those are more videos that you want to watch, go ahead and click the subscribe button and don't forget to click that bell so that you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. We honestly get reach outs every single day from people that are wanting to move here and we love hearing from you guys, but we can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we got your back when you're moving to Seattle. Okay, so this video, we're going to talk about what are some hacks living here. You know, you hear about all these different things in the area, weather, traffic, all these things going on, but what are some like real usable things that you need to know when you're moving here? So I'm going to tell you. Number one is dress in layers. The weather here can just be like kind of crazy, especially in the spring and the fall. You'll wake up in the morning, it's like pouring rain, it's freezing. So you like bundle up. And then by the afternoon, the sun's out, the birds are chirping, it's like 60 degrees and you're sweating in your sweater. So dress in layers, t-shirt with like a flannel or a hoodie or wear a scarf or something. But it's always good to dress in layers because this weather's just can go from one extreme to the next. Same with rain boots. Like I can't tell you how many times I've dressed in rain boots. It's raining in the morning. You're like, okay, I'm going to wear my rain boots today. And then by the afternoon, it's like sunny and you got these big clunky rain boots that you're just like clopping around in. It's bad. So I always bring like an extra pair of shoes when I go into the city. And when I know I need to work, especially if it's raining. So dress in layers, be prepared for any type of weather, especially in the spring and the fall, because that's when it's just like most extreme. The summer, you'll wake up, sometimes there's like a lot of fog, the marine layer, it kind of seems cool. And then it burns off by like 10 a.m. and it's just like a beautiful day. So definitely be prepared for any type of weather because it's just always possible here in Seattle. Number two is something that I don't have, but I know a lot of people that do, and it tends to help. If it's something that you're prone to, the seasonal affective disorder, which is when it's just like gloomy all the time, you get really depressed. I know a lot of people that have bought like the UV sun lamps and just turn them on like for 30 minutes every day. And it seems to help their moods and stuff. So if that's something that maybe you're afraid of that you might experience when you move here, not a bad idea to buy one of those. You can get them for pretty cheap on Amazon. And from what I know of people that use them, they can be really helpful. So that's something to consider. Hack number three, I say just get outside. Like, yeah, the weather can be pretty crappy here, but you always just got to like get out. Even if it's raining, you get your rain boots, you got your rain gear, just get out. Even if it's just for like 10 minutes a day, it can make a really big difference. Because you can't let the weather dictate all the time. A lot of times it's super easy to just like sit at home and stay inside and try to be all cozy, but it really helps to just get out, especially during those gloomier months when it's just gray nonstop and you're just like, oh my God, is it going to end? Getting outside, just getting some fresh air in your veins and in your lungs can really help. And even if maybe you don't want to go outside, like just getting a gym membership or doing a yoga class once a week or something, just getting out and getting some exercise and getting that blood pumping can definitely help, just keep some of that just gloomy feelings at bay. And just to tag on to that, when you do see the sun, like get out and enjoy it because you don't know sometimes the next time that it's going to happen. Like the weather here changes so often that sometimes the sun will come out maybe just for like 20, 30 minutes. But it's like, if you see it, get out there because you don't know the next time. You can't take it for granted. Sometimes you'll see that little glint of sun and you get out and you enjoy it and everybody's in a good mood for that like 30 minutes. And then it's raining again. So you just really got to like seize the day, try not to let the weather get to you. It can be rough, but you just got to deal with it as part of living here. And kind of tagging along with that, number four, if you can swing it, try to vacation to a warm weather place like in January or February. I usually find that you've got the summer, which is amazing. Fall is really pretty here. The leaves are changing. It's still pretty decent weather. The rain hasn't really started to kick in usually until like November, December. Then around that time, you've got like the holidays. So there's just like some other things to kind of keep you occupied. And then like once January hits, it's just like the long gray for months. So if you can swing it and you can afford it and make it happen and get time off, if you can take a warm weather vacation during those months like January, February, it can be a good kind of like break to ease the pain of the bad weather and kind of get you revitalized and get you through that spring of just like total changing in the weather. I also find that January and February are better months. You can usually find cheaper airfare around that time, and it's like before spring break and it's after Christmas break. So it's kind of like that sweet spot too, as far as just traveling in crowds. It's not as bad as some of the other times. So if you can make that happen, definitely helps just keep those winter blues at bay. Number 5, I'd say, kind of talked about it before, but just like lean into the rain, just accept it. I mean, I think people move here and then they hate it and they're just like, oh my God, it's so terrible. Like it is what it is. You got to deal with it. Just try to see the beauty in it. I know it's hard sometimes when it's just like pouring down rain and you're like, oh my God, is it ever going to end? But I try to, take a look around, and it's so green here and lush. We wouldn't have that lush greenery if it wasn't for all the rain. So we do have to appreciate it a little bit. There's a lot of areas in the country that are experiencing droughts and don't get enough rain, and it's dry and there's wildfires. I mean, we're very lucky here that we do get a lot of rain. I mean, there are wildfires that still happen in the area, especially on the mountains where it does tend to be drier, but and they have gotten worse over the years, but we're still pretty lucky. We still get a lot of rain and water, which is vital to our green life. So you just got to appreciate it. Sometimes I know it can be hard, but just look at the beauty around you. I mean, this time of year in the spring, it's just absolutely beautiful. Yes, it gets cloudy and gloomy and rainy, but the blossoms, the cherry blossoms, it's like all the trees are blooming, the tulips are blooming, the daffodils, like it's just such a pretty time of year. The birds are chirping, it makes it a little bit easier to take the clouds if you've got some of this other beauty around you. So just, stop, appreciate some of the other things and try not to focus on the weather. I just have made a rule since I moved here. I just like don't even look at the weather report. I never count on sun. I just count on it raining every single day. And then I'm happy because it doesn't really rain every day. And then when you see the sun, you're like, okay, cool. So it's just kind of takes like a mind shift. You just got to like get over it. And some people never will, and it's just not the place for them. But if you're going to stay here, you just got to, appreciate the rain. Also get rain boots and get jackets with hoods. Like you just get used to being out in that rain, no matter what. Get some bright colored rain boots and jump in the mud puddles. It's actually kind of fun. If you get your rain boots and you go jumping through the puddles, it makes it a little more exciting, especially if you have kids, then they can like jump through the rain, bring some extra clothes, let them get soaked, and then it's just part of it. So it doesn't have to be as miserable as some people think or perceive it to be. Number 6 hack has to do with some traffic and parking. So in the city of Seattle, you can park whichever way you want on the street. So like a lot of areas, if you're driving like east or whatever, like facing this way, you have to park facing this way. You can't park the reverse. In Seattle, nobody cares. Like you're never going to get a ticket for that. So you can be driving this way. You see a parking spot on the other side of the street that's facing this way. You don't have to like flip a U-ey and like park that way. You can just like zoom on over and park in. So it's kind of cool. I think a lot of newcomers don't really know that, or maybe then you start noticing it when you're driving around, but you can park whatever way you want in the city, as long as you're like within the time limits, it's and all that, and the zones, which is like a whole nother conversation. But you can park any which way you want. So it's kind of fun. I guess like the rebel in me like finds that exciting. So number 7 too, something that's helpful is to know the grid in Seattle. The way that the addresses are, this is really helpful. That way, when you hear addresses, you'll know automatically like where certain areas are. So here, I'm going to share my screen and show you this. So we've got, this is an outline of the city of Seattle. So this just shows the grid. So Avenues run north and south, streets run east and west. So anything like any address you'll see, like, 45th Avenue Northeast. So when you hear that, it's going to be up in this northeast part. 23rd Avenue South is going to be down here in South Seattle. West is going to be over here in Magnolia. Northwest is going to be up here, kind of like Ballard, North Seattle. This north is just like this weird strip in the middle of Seattle. You've got Queen Anne, and then up into like Fremont and Finney and those areas. So it's just helpful when you start to see addresses and know things. Like once you hear that southeast or southwest is always going to be in West Seattle. So it just, when you're trying to drive directions, I know everybody has like Google Maps and you don't really have to know anything anywhere, but sometimes when technology fails, it's nice to know this. And then you kind of have a general idea of the location that you're heading before you have to look it up on a map. So this has been really helpful, especially being a real estate agent. I know an address and I just can like already know the general area that I need to be at or where it's located. So getting to know this is really helpful. So that's a pretty good hack, I'd say. So there you have it. Those are some of the top hacks that I think can be helpful when moving to the area that you might not know just off the top of your head, or you might not see in other publications about moving here. So there you go. So moving to Seattle or a new city can be really hard, especially when you don't know the areas and when you're trying to figure out where you want to live. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help. We love hearing from you guys, but you got to give us a call. We can't help unless you call. So call, email, text, and we'd love to hear from you. We've got your back when you're moving to Seattle.